Alright, so welcome back to the channel. Here's a tiny little tube amp sent out to me by Apos Audio once again. Take a look at this, they tell me. Okay, sure, but what makes this so special? Well, let's find out. So as far as the contents are concerned, it's pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, you get the unit itself, the AC adapter, the power brick, the warranty, and the manual. Simple and clean. Of course, that also includes the 4 stock tubes that come pre-installed with the unit. Now let's discuss the build quality and the I/O of the device. So I'm going to start off by saying this device has some amazing build quality. It's got a strong and sturdy metallic shell, soft yet somewhat grainy knobs, the whole shebang. It's got it all. As for its ins and outs, on the front of the device you've got the left and right volume knobs, a 4.4mm Pentacon balanced in, a 4.4mm Pentacon balanced out, and an XLR balanced out. On the top you can clearly see the 4 tubes at work with a minor underglow emanating from within the device. And on the rear of the device you can see the left and right XLR balanced ins, the power switch, and the DC plug. Now let's discuss the amplification and the sound this thing produces. So, in case you haven't quite picked it up yet, this is a fully balanced tube amplifier that is only capable of reproducing a balanced output. No single-ended here whatsoever. So here are a couple of examples of how much power the 604 can output. So I played my HD600s at around 8 o'clock on each knob. Same thing with the ZMF Tours, 8 on each knob, and again, same thing with the HiFiMAN Sundaras. And yes, you can definitely use planars with this unit. Now let's discuss the sound of this unit with the stock tubes. So I'll start with the HD600s here. They definitely gain a little bit of extra slam in the low end. I wouldn't say it gains warmth though. They also give a certain amount of spice to the treble. It doesn't make it like bright per se, but it definitely makes it a little sharper without increasing the forwardness. Imagine the Sundara's treble, not extremely sharp and forward, but definitely spicy within the neutral category of things. Now the Sundaras experience an interesting change here. The most noticeable change is heard in the treble. It slightly comes down a bit, but it sounds quite a bit smoother and easier to listen to. It's still got its spicy metallic twang to it, but just reproduced in a better way. Everything else pretty much stays the same. Now the Tours, oh god, they're beautiful. The Tours also experience an interesting change, though it's not a favorable one. For some reason, the 604 sort of dulls out the dynamics and makes it sound a little boring and plain. The bass loses that confidence and presence. The fine little details lose that ability to just kind of pop and interact with you. And for those of you who own the Tour, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So on and so forth. Same thing with the arias. As I listen to something like Kyoto by Skrillex, I notice that the majority of the response is sort of compressed and boring when compared to something like the THX AAA 789. The only part that stands out is the worst of it, the sibilance in the treble region. Now, as for the HD 800, they didn't really improve all that much either. The most noticeable item was that the ringing in the treble region got a teensy bit more intense. So it's really not that big a deal, considering you're going to use the treble anyway. Now, just a quick thing to mention here. Whenever turning off the device, I do hear a relatively quiet popping sound from the left channel. Again, it's not loud enough to like deafen or startle anyone even, but yeah, it's there. And it happens every time I turn it off, for some reason. Conclusion time. So what do we have here? Well, as we've seen thus far, pairings are key when purchasing your equipment. Now this has worked for some headphones, but it didn't quite work so well for others. And I'm personally not that into the whole individual channel adjustments thing, but I'm sure there are plenty of you that can take advantage of such a thing. But hey, if you're looking for a small tube amplifier, and you only need balanced inputs and outputs, then this is a fantastic unit at a very budget-friendly price. So I would highly look into the MT-604 if that is something that you happen to need. Well, this one was quite the short one. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope this helped your purchasing decision, and until then, I will see you in the next video. Okay, ciao.